My name is Joe Bladek, and today here we have Gord Haig. Gord Haig is going to be talking to us today about the cottage real estate market in the Huntsville and surrounding area. A little bit about Gord is he was born in Toronto. He moved up to this area in 1979. This area has been a big part of his life, and he would come up here a lot during time with his parents, and his grandparents have been here up a lot as well. A little bit about his work experience. He's been in the hospitality industry for many years, and since then he's been in the real estate industry full time now for several years. For fun, Gord, you like to play music, you like to play summer and winter sports, and so what we'll do is we'll get right into it here. This is a short video, and Gord, what would you say is the best time of year to go looking for a cottage property?
Well, Joe, first of all, just thank you for taking the time to do this, and I appreciate it. I think the best time generally for anybody who's looking for cottage properties is probably in the spring. It's just sort of after the snow has melted. There's so much runoff we have here, and water can be a cottage's worst enemy. So it's good to see how that runoff is going to affect the building and the property and so forth. The other reason why I say spring is generally because that's the time when there's the inventory of cottage property is the highest. Okay. And a lot of cottage owners shut down, take off for the winter, so they're not available for sale. But then they come back in spring, list them, and hopefully buyers can get into them and enjoy the summer.
Okay.
So, the other time though too is fall. It's not maybe as busy as the spring rush, but the fall is a busy time. Once we get past sort of the Labor Day weekend, people have had their time at the cottage and time to list, and they try to get it done before winter comes.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Excellent. What would, I guess for typical price ranges, what would typical price ranges get you? Say, for example, a hunting cabin on a piece of land.
Hunting cabins I would say, would be without any kind of services such as water and septic. It is common, you can find them for maybe 100 acres for around $85,000 to $100,000. Okay. If there are some properties that you maybe get a 50-acre tract of land, and it's obviously a little less, maybe around the 50,000. If you do find, and there are some that have a small cabin and it just has water and sewer facilities, well, you're probably a little more money, around $220 plus. So. Okay,
and that makes sense because it has those extra facilities. Yep. Okay, perfect. What about for waterfront cottages? Now, it's not something everybody probably wants, but
that's really actually a hard question to answer in the sense that there is just so many different types. You can really start from 100,000 and go well up into the millions.
Oh, okay.
In this area of Huntsville, we are on a 4-lake chain, which offers about 80 kilometers of boating. So it's great for boating if that's what you're into in the cottage property. But to get onto one of these lakes, you're probably around maybe $650 to $750.
Okay.
750,000. Now there are smaller lakes, and the neat thing about it, if you're to go up in a helicopter, or a plane or something, and look down, it's water everywhere.
Water everywhere.
So there are a lot of smaller cottage properties on smaller lakes.
Okay.
And I've seen them, 100,000, 125, maybe to 300,000. They may be more of a 3-season kind of place where you'd want to shut down in the winter, but
okay.
So there is such a big difference in where you go to. As I said, even in this area of Ferry Lake here, there are properties in $3 million they're listed for. So
wow, so it's kind of need a good expert to help find those properties.
I think if you're looking at one of the lakes, the 4-lake chain here, it's probably going to be around $750,000 you should plan for.
$750,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if someone just wanted a piece of land that was on the water and they could decide what to do with it from there?
Again, these 4-lake chain, you're probably not going to find much in the way of vacant land anymore because the lakes have been developed since the 50s with people putting cottages on them. However, there are some areas which are being developed as a community.
All right.
And I know down in Mary Lake, there is where you will share the beachfront, which is maybe about 800 some odd feet.
Oh, okay.
And you're probably looking around, probably a couple $100,000 for it.
Okay.
But again, in the smaller lakes, you could possibly pick up a lot for around 40,000.
Oh, okay.
So again, it depends where you want to be.
Yeah.
And the big lakes, or you just want to be on water and enjoy the peace and so on. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. So we talked a little bit about waterfront. What about if someone just wanted a cottage in the area, but not on the waterfront?
we're looking around the range of around 250,000.
Okay.
300,000. Again, it depends on the building and how new.
Yeah.
And what features they've put on it. So, but 250, 300.
250 to 300?
Yep.
Okay.
Often you'll get cottage properties that they may have access to a beachfront somewhere. You have to walk down a communal beach or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's part of the deeded access on your property that you can access it. So.
Oh, okay.
So I know in Port Sydney we have something like that, but you're probably looking around 400,000
For something like that.
to where you have access to the beach and it's deeded access, but you're not right there on the lake.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what kinds of different vacation cottage properties are available in the area?
Well, there are cottages. There are cottage resorts.
Okay.
Where I know one I know personally from Port Sydney.
Yeah.
It has several units, and they're all housekeeping. They all have fully equipped kitchens, and you bring families up. They are all about 5 bedrooms, so they fit a lot of people in them.
Yeah.
Or condos. There are a lot of cottage rentals out there.
Oh, okay.
And I know people buy cottages with the idea of renting out, and you can make a fairly substantial bit of money throughout the summer.
Oh, okay.
The only thing caution is that check with your insurance company first, because you want to make sure you got proper insurance if you're renting, because your basic cottage insurance may not cover that.
Okay.
But so there's options if you're not in the market to purchase a cottage. There's certainly a lot of rentals, so
Makes sense.
and it's hassle-free, no upkeep to worry about. So
Oh, yeah. That's good. Like a lot of people probably not from the area probably look for something like that. Okay. I guess the next question would be, how long would it take for someone to find what they're looking for realistically?
realistically, I think if you're looking in the spring, you will find it fairly quick. Hopefully, if the inventory is there.
Yeah.
I think the inventory will increase over the next few years as we are dealing with an aging population here.
Oh, okay.
The baby boomers. I know a lot of my clients over the past 5 years are people who have had waterfront properties or cottages, but they just can't deal with it anymore, and the kids don't want it, and so they're selling them off and moving down south, maybe closer to their children and so forth. So it is coming. I think more and more we'll see more inventory, and once something does come up for sale, this past year especially,
Yeah.
they've been on for maybe a week.
Oh, wow.
So
real
and they have
quick.
sold above list. And I think that because of what's happening in the Toronto market this past year,
Yes.
it's coming north, and people are maybe not buying a home and investing in cottage property up here or something.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess let's start talking about getting prepared. So what do people do to get prepared to start looking for property in this area?
I think the big thing they got to do is sit down and examine their finances.
Okay.
First and foremost. Is this going to be a second home? Are you going to be able to pay for cash? Are you going to require a mortgage? And it's not just all that. It's also, can you afford to carry it? The taxes on cottage property can be very expensive.
Yeah.
And in cottage property, we're rural properties where we don't have municipal service as far as water and sewer, so we're on wells and septic. Wells can go dry.
Okay.
Septic systems can kind of get plugged up, depends how old they are, where they were made. You get tree roots growing into them.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And sometimes they need to be replaced. They can be $10,000 for a well, $10,000 for a new septic. It doesn't always happen, but it can.
Yeah.
I know from experience.
Got it.
And so are you going to be able to afford that if that expense ever comes up? You're going to need a new roof someday. And it's also... those are things that you got to make sure you can afford. And also mortgaging, as I'm sure you'd agree, a cottage property is different than a city property.
It is very different. Yeah.
We don't always have foundations. We don't always have furnaces, and they're heated differently.
Access roads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Also, look at winterizing? Is it a property that you're going to want to use throughout the course of the winter, or are you just going to shut it down, drain the water? If you want to use it throughout the winter, you got to realize that the water system's got to make sure that you're not going to have any problems, because up here over the years, we have probably experienced more power outages than you do in the city. And I know myself, I've experienced 3 outages that have lasted over a week.
Oh, wow.
Over the years. So if your water is not properly looked at, you got pipes burst and it's going to do a lot of damage.
Wow.
So you want to make sure you can get generator systems. They operate on natural gas.
Oh, okay.
And if that's something to see, if you got natural gas coming into your property, that will come on automatically in the event of a power failure. But you want to make sure you're not going to have an incident where water pipes break, and it's happened, whether your insurance covers it or not. And also talk to your insurance company. Just tell them what you want to do. I know there's a lot there, but and people may not know where to go, but I strongly suggest is, first of all, if you don't know where to go, contact a real estate professional and a local one who knows the area, and that is the job of the real estate professional, is to help guide people along. And we're not just there to write up the agreement and say, hey, there you go, thank you. No, our job is to guide you through the whole process from start to finish and help you along with all these issues.
Sounds good. You probably have a Rolodex of certain people you can
absolutely
call for septic advice or well advice, all that stuff.
And also, you want to make sure, I heard the government may mandate this, that if you're on a well property, you may have to have an ultraviolet system. Installed with proper filters, but I know there's people around that do that work. So and that's another thing too, is the potable water and heating. If you're using any kind of wood fireplaces or stove, you have to have additional certification for insurance purposes. So, these are things so
perfect. Well,
but use the real estate professional, and they'll guide you through the process.
That's right. They can make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Perfect. Okay, so what we talked a little bit about this, but let's really dive into it. So, what are the typical challenges you are seeing in the Huntsville and surrounding area market?
For me, this past year, the challenge has been the lack of inventory. Over this past winter, in the area I live in, have worked in, literally there were no listings other than one island on the lake, which you probably couldn't get to part of the winter. And what we're seeing is, again, I mentioned an aging population, and a lot of people now in their 60s are kind of hitting retirement. They have some extra cash. They're heading south to Florida, whatever. They're buying a trailer, condo, snowbirds, and they're gone. So they'll come back in the spring and list. But it's a winter market. And right now, this past spring, anything that went on, came online and got listed, it sold very quickly with multiple offers, which is something that we really haven't seen up here ever. I remember. So that is the problem. But I think it's going to change in years to come, not too long, because, as I said, a lot of people are downsizing. They don't want to cut their grass, shovel their snow, move their firewood anymore. So they are selling here, maybe moving down south where life's a little easier and being closer to family. I have people, say 40-year-olds, who are interested in buying a property up here where they can come and spend weekends or whatever, with the idea of eventually moving up here. But I've been working with these people for a year or two now, and that type of property we haven't seen available yet. So because they have very specific needs, and it's
got it.
But I think that eventually will change too.
Sounds good. Okay, good. We went over that there. I guess what advice would you offer or give to someone that is completely new to the process and are thinking about getting a cottage property in the future?
Well, other than I mentioned finances, there's other things to look at. Is what size of lake do you want to be on? In Muskoka, now there's the Muskoka lakes, Lake Muskoka, Lake Joe, Lake Rosso. They are the bigger lakes and much more money. But then up here in the Huntsville area, we have the 4-lake system, and it offers lots of boating and so forth. And there are smaller lakes too, which are really nice, very picturesque. So it depends. Exposure to the sun. Which way do you want to be facing? Do you want morning sun, evening sun, etc.?
I never would have thought of that.
And access to the property, especially. We have a lot of cottage properties who are on private roads. They're year-round roads, but there is a fee. There's maintenance involved. So will they keep that road open all year? And these are something you want to check out. Shoreline. Do you want sandy shoreline? If you have children, you maybe want more of a sandy shoreline with shallow, nice gradual drop in the lake.
Makes sense, yeah.
And maybe not a lot of rocky area if you got kids. But if you want to do a lot of boating, maybe you want to have a little deeper for so be able to park your boat and so forth. Then the services. How do you get your water? You can bring it from a lake.
Okay.
As long as you have the proper filter system.
Filter system, yeah.
That works. Is it drinkable? And the septic system. These are something, though, your home inspector, once you make an offer, can help figure out for you, too, as well.
Sounds good.
And, does the building and how many rooms you want? And, is it going to be ample for your family? And if your family going to grow and, your kids bring in friends and so forth and get married, whatever.
Lots to consider.
So there's lots there.
Okay.
But as I said, your real estate professionals can sort of guide you through the whole process and help you out and
sounds good.
Get the job done for you.
All right. So I guess if someone wanted to move to the next steps and they would like to contact a real estate professional such as yourself, how would they go about contacting you? What's the best way?
Well, just simply go online, look for a local if they're in the Huntsville area.
Okay.
Huntsville Real Estate Professionals. You can put in Your Choice Realty.
Yep.
There's a number of us up here willing to serve you. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll have some links below that you can visit on this video. So feel free to click on those. And thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us about cottage properties and all that in the Huntsville area. And my name is Joe Bladek. I'm a mortgage broker in this area. Feel free to visit my website at muskokamortgagebroker.ca. And Gord Haig.
I'm Gord Haig of Your Choice Realty. I'm a broker, and it's yourchoicerealty.ca.